Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Or welcome back to my channel, I should say, if you're here. My name is Zeus, and today we are doing some Premier League predictions. Predictions, even. I can't speak today. I've basically made some predictions, written them down. I got Football Manager to simulate a season, and I wrote those down. And I spun a wheel, put all these teams in alphabetical order, shuffled it 5 times, spun it from 20th to 1st to see where people finish. And we've also made predictions underneath this of the top goal scorer, the most assists, and the manager of the season. And probably what I would think the best signing of the season is, uh, according to either of them. But I think I know what the best signing should probably be. But let's see what we think about AFC Bournemouth, who last season in the Premier League, I believe, finished 12th. They got off to a slow start. But I think, and Football Manager thinks, and the wheel believes, that AFC Bournemouth will finish here. 12th, 13th, and 11th. I'm predicting 12th, exactly the same as last time. I don't think anything special is going to happen. Football Manager thinks 13th. Football Manager thinks they'll take a step backwards, but I believe Football Manager has them 13th on goal difference, which is, I think, probably fair. And the wheel, when we spun it, predicted they'll finish 11th, which, you know what, I think they can finish in any one of these three positions. I think that's actually probably fair. I actually don't know what their actual finish will be, but we're recording this on a Sunday, just after the France game. I have to record what's his name, Bertrame, uh, beat Erling Haaland off this. I don't know if I'll have time because I can't find one where he's not at Boca Juniors or injured, but maybe I can. But if not, it'll be Victor Osimhen because I have recorded that already. So why not? Next is Arsenal. The wheel does not like Arsenal. I'll just say that now. But here's where we all think Arsenal finishes. I think second. Football Manager thinks second. The wheel predicts sixth. That's an interesting one. I don't know why the wheel thinks sixth, but it's random, so it had no idea who Arsenal was. It just was like, I pick Arsenal sixth. Cool. Great. So, yeah, Arsenal and sixth. I don't know. It would require them to take a huge step backwards. I mean, I've really put them second, providing that they hadn't bought a number 9. If they buy a number 9 between now, Sunday, and the end of the summer transfer window, I will change that to first. If they do not, I will keep that as second because I do not believe that they can beat Manchester City without a decent number 9. I think that's fair. Because yeah, and Football Manager has predicted exactly the same. They predicted that they didn't sign a striker as well. To be fair, I actually checked the transfers; they did not sign one. So who knows? Next is Aston Villa, who I predicted, and let's see where everyone predicted to finish. I predicted 6th, Football Manager predicted 7th, and the Wheel predicted 19th. It was the second team to come up. Oh god, that was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, I thought 6th mainly because they have Champions League football. I still think they have good signings and good players to manage 6th, but they will definitely take a step back from Champions League football. I think they'll finish top 6, possibly top 8. I reckon they'll finish no lower than 8th. But Football Manager thought 7th, um, which again is probably fair. They had Champions League football. They actually signed some players. I believe Pedro Gonçalves signed for them, and that was actually the signing of the season according to Football Manager 2024. So that's something to look forward to, Aston Villa. You could be signing Pedro Gonçalves, which I guess is good. And the wheel predicts you to finish 19th because apparently the wheel hates Birmingham. So why not? But Brentford, who I think last season didn't do too well. They finished like 16th, right? So I think I've been a bit too optimistic here. But let's see what our predictions are. I predict 10th. Football Manager thinks 8th. And the wheel predicts 15th. I think the wheel has actually smashed this. When this came up as like the 5th choice, like going up from 20th to 1st, um, I was like, yeah, I think the Will has nailed this. I genuinely do. By random chance, I think they've nailed it. But I think they should improve, provided Tony doesn't get banned for betting again. Hey, which, let's be honest, he will. But yeah, both me and Football Manager have a bit more optimistic predictions for next season. Um, yeah, they didn't really sign anyone good. I don't think they signed a number 9 replacement for Tony just in case. I don't remember. I'll check afterwards and put it as an edit. But if they haven't, then there we are. Next, Brighton and Hove Albion. this is an interesting one on all parts. I think I predicted a bit better than last season because last season they disappointed. But Brighton Hove Albion, I predicted eighth. Football Manager predicted 10th, and the Will is very optimistic about your chances. They think you're going to finish second. You're not going to like who you're behind. I know actually you will like who you're behind, but um, yeah, the Will thought you'd finish second, but that's not happening. I think 10th is probably fair. 8th could happen. It depends on who their manager is. I don't know who it is. As of Sunday, I've not seen the manager come in. Maybe they have, and I just missed it, and I apologise, but I assume that you'll have some youngsters come in who we've never heard of to just amaze in the Premier League. That's what we'll just see, and they'll go up from where they finished last season, which was pretty low. I think they finished bottom half, didn't they? Yeah, they finished 11th. So yeah, this 8th is a bit of a step up, and 10th is top half. So there you go. And the Will thinks you're finishing second. How about Chelsea? What do we think of Chelsea's chances? Well, this is what we think. Uh, I thought 7th. The Football Manager predicted 9th, and the Will predicted 5th. So we're all in the same ballpark. We all think that Chelsea will finish in the top half with no Mauricio Pochettino and the guy from Leicester taking over, who brought Leicester up into the Premier League. I thought that was a huge step backwards. I liked Pochettino. He's a decent manager, and he was finally getting a tune out of the team that the Chelsea has spent billions of pounds on, and have somehow just been shit. Uh, but I don't think they're going to get Champions League football. I don't think they're going to get Europa League football. I actually think they might get a points deduction. Um, and Football Manager actually agreed. They had to actually, in that simulation, got a points deduction for financial fair play mismanagement. And it was a 3 point deduction. So if I added 3 points onto that, they would actually be in eighth place, only by goal difference. Um, but yeah, ninth for Football Manager because of a points deduction, and the Will predicted fifth. It was one of the last teams to come up. So I think any one of these positions could be accurate, depending on how good Chelsea are and who they sign, if they spend another £1 billion or not. But let's have a look at Crystal Palace, who Brighton Hove fans hope that they finish above according to the Wheel. But let's have a look. Um, they do finish above them according to the Wheel. I think they'll finish 11th. Football Manager thinks they'll finish 14th. And the Wheel predicted they'll finish third. So they predicted Brighton to finish above Crystal Palace. I thought the Crystal Palace would finish below Brighton, and so did Football Manager. They didn't really do anything, basically. They finished mid-table. There's nothing spectacular. I think that's actually going to happen. They're going to finish 11th. It's not too far off where they finished last season, right? It's pretty much exactly the same place. Actually, it's one place lower than last season in my prediction. I think it's about fair. I think it's about fair. But let's have a look at Everton. Oh, God. Okay, so this is where we all think Everton are going to finish. We all think, I think they'll finish 13th. Football Manager thinks 15th, and the Will thinks 17th. Now, there's a bit of a disclaimer here. I could not, no matter what I try, get rid of the financial fair play points deduction from this season because it was applied this season. And since it's Football Manager 2024, you can't get rid of that without the editor, and I don't have the editor. So 15th, if I gave them back the 6 points, they would still be in 15th. They were quite some way behind 14th place. So it didn't really matter. But I think if they do not get a points deduction, I genuinely believe, even if they sell some players, they could finish in 13th place. This last season they finished 15th with the points deduction of 9, I think it was, or 6. They could have finished in that place. They could have actually easily finished in that place. So, yeah, I think they'll finish there. And the Wheel predicts that they'll get relegated. Actually, is that relegation? 17, 18, 19, 20. No, they'll finish one place above relegation. So, we all think bottom half. We all think around 15th, 17th. I think 13th. I think they'll actually improve, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But let's have a look at Fulham. Let's see what our predictions are. Fulham is here. I think 15th. Football Manager thinks 16th. The Wheel had also predicted 16th. So this came up 4th in the Wheel, so therefore 16th place. The Football Manager also predicted 16th. Apparently, a lot of their players go. João Palhinha went to Bayern Munich, which probably seems like it's going to happen. I don't know. And they also got rid of Iwobi, even though he had just joined. So I reckon they have some financial issues. I don't know, but they did buy in a striker. Um, they bought in Joshua Zirkzee on our save, and they still finished 16th. He didn't score any goals, so that was fun. I think they'll finish 15th. I don't think they'll buy Zirkzee. I think they will have to sell Paulinia, and Willian's gone. And I think they were their best. He was their best player for a good couple of seasons, and I don't think they have enough money to get a replacement. I think 15th is fair. I don't think I could see them above 15th. I think it's exactly where they finished last season, isn't it? 13th last season. So yeah, if they finish about there, it's about fine, isn't it? But let's see. This is the first newly promoted team, Ipswich Town. I'm actually genuinely looking forward to seeing them in the Premier League. I'm looking forward to seeing Portman Road in the Premier League, and I'll probably buy FIFA so I get Portman Road as a stadium. That'd be quite nice. Because I had Carrow Road last season when Norwich came into the Premier League the first time, and when Leicester came into the Premier League, I also got their stadium for the first time. I was like, oh yeah, I may as well. It's probably worth absolutely nothing now, but there we are. I think they're going to finish 18th. I think they're not going to be the worst promoted team. I think they'll only finish 18th on goal difference. It will come down to goal difference to who I think finishes in 17th, and that will come later. Um, Football Manager predicted they'll finish 20th, and apparently you'll only win 6 games, um, which is oof. And the wheel predicts you'll finish 7th. I think you'll take that, wouldn't you? 7th? But yeah, both me and Football Manager predict you'll get relegated, but I don't think you'll be the worst. And I think it will only come down to goal difference. Um, that's what I think. Next is Leicester City, another newly promoted team. A team I was looking forward to seeing with their manager in charge until he fucked off to Chelsea, and now they have no one. And probably getting a points deduction, apparently. But let's have a look at what we predict. Uh, oh, that's the wrong thing. Uh, there we are. So I predicted 14th. The Football Manager predicted 18th, and the Will predicted first. They think they're going to win the Premier League again. If the Will has got this right, I will be amazed. But I will actually put in 3 bets. I'll put in my bet, Football Manager bet, and the Will's bet. And if we win anything, I don't know. I'll donate the winnings to charity. How about that? Name a charity in the comments, and I'll donate it to them. Um, but yeah, 14th. I don't think that's. I think Leicester City will sign someone probably. I don't think they really 100% need to. Maybe a better number 9. Um, but I think they'll be fine. I think this is the best promoted team that has been here in a while. And if they don't survive, then no one coming up ever will. Ever. But Football Manager disagrees. They think 18th. And I think 18th by a point as well. It is literally 1 point between them and 17th, who will come up later on. And the wheel predicted first. It was the last team that was spun. It was the last team on the wheel. So by default, finished first. But let's have a look at Liverpool. Where do we think Liverpool's going to finish? I think it's pretty obvious where they should finish. But let's have a look. I think third. Football Manager also thinks third. And the wheel predicted 20th. Never happening. If Liverpool get relegated this season, I with Arne Slot in charge, I don't know what I'll do. Again, I don't know. I don't think we'll win any money from this prediction, and if we do, ooh, Christ. But yeah, I think third. Full Measure also thinks third. We both predict that Arnie Slot will have an average season. They'll probably sign someone good. I don't remember who they signed on Football Manager. Actually, I can probably check if they've actually signed anyone good on Football Manager. They had actually signed no one. Oh no, they signed Yves Bissouma. They signed Yves Bissouma and Raphael Varane, which I don't think is happening. But yeah, they signed Bissouma and Varane in the January transfer window. If they signed Bissouma, I think they could finish second still. Well, maybe second, but not first. But yeah, they didn't really sign anyone. Let's have a look at Manchester City. Where do we think? It's a bit obvious. First. I don't see them getting anything but first. Believe it or not, Football Manager also predicted first, and they also predicted that they'll have an invincible season. 30 wins, 8 draws, 0 losses, and a 50 goal difference. That's how big. Apparently between first and second is a good 15, 16 points, something like that. If I remember correctly. And yeah, they think invincible season for Football Manager. And they signed someone pretty big too. They signed wow, yeah, they signed Finley Gorman, which is not big, but they signed Claudio Echeverri, who I think is pretty good, and Ricardo Horta from SC Braga, which is interesting signings according to Football Manager. I think they'll finish first. I can't see anyone over toppling Manchester City until they get their 115 charges actually come through by the Premier League. And the Will thinks 13th. It was one of the one of the early ones, so the Will doesn't think you're going to do well. You're going to have a hell of a points deduction, apparently. You're not going to get that small of a points deduction, let's be honest. But let's see where Manchester United finish, according to all of us. I think ninth. Football Manager predicted 6th, and the Wheel predicted 14th. So Manchester City finishing above Manchester United. I think we've all predicted that, which is probably fair. According to Football Manager, Manchester United have signed in January Kasper Urbazinski and Giancarlo Simic. Uh, that's it. That's the only signings they made. I think you will probably get a number 9. I don't know who. I don't care who. Someone better than Hoyland, because Hoyland is the worst player I think I've ever seen. Ever. And I hope you start Sancho over Anthony, because he is good, okay? It's Eric Ten Hag that's bad. How you sign him for another few seasons, I don't fucking know, but I think you'll take a step backwards into 9th, because your club has run badly. Sorry, Mark Goldbridge. But let's have a look at Newcastle United. Newcastle United, I predicted 4th. Football Manager also predicted 4th. That was an interesting one. And the Wheel predicts 10th. And I was like, okay, that's a bit harsh because I don't think they finished too far off 10th in real life. No, they finished 7th last season. But we've all predicted that they'll improve. Newcastle United, I believe, sacked Eddie Howe. And did they sack Eddie Howe? Yes, they did sack Eddie Howe. And they got in charge instead. Oh no, they haven't sacked Eddie Howe. Eddie Howe's still there. I thought he was. I just didn't see him. There we are. Eddie Howe is still there. They had signed 111 million pounds worth of players during the summer and winter transfers, including Oliver Wilkinson from Barnsley, Memphis Depay for free, Ana Rodriguez and from Argentina's Junior, Andre from Fluminense, Danny Nemesco from Porto, and Samir from Tigres in Mexico. That's apparently their signings according to Football Manager, and they'll finish 4th and win an FA Cup. But that's beyond the point. Nottingham Forest. Where do we think Nottingham Forest are going to finish? I think 19th. This is a call from me. The game, Football Manager 2024, thinks 12th. And the Wheel also thinks 12th. Nottingham Forest, I think, are going to have a bad season. I think they're going to have a points deduction again because they're going to sign ridiculous amounts of players again, and they're just going to struggle again. And I don't think they're going to have a good transfer window. Apparently, to this game, they're going to sign a lot of people, including Fletcher Demos, Murillo, Newton, Avery, Alfie Bradshaw, Cormac Daly, and ML Craft, apparently. That's their signings, and apparently you get rid of at some point during the January or winter transfers. John Joe Shelby has left, but there we are. Full Manager thinks 12th. Not much is happening there. You still have Nuno in charge, but yeah, I don't think you're going to finish 12th. I think you're going to finish 19th because you're going to get a points deduction. And I don't have any trust in Nuno Espirito Santos. I don't think he's a good manager, but there we are. But Southampton, where do I think Southampton's going to finish? I think 20th. The game thinks 19th, and the Will thinks 4th. They think very highly of Southampton. The only reason I think Southampton will finish 20th is because there are 2 transfer rumours so far. Adam Lallana and the striker dude who used to play there, who now plays at West Ham, Danny Ings. 2 people who are past it, not really good anymore. They shouldn't be going for them. And until they have signed someone better than that, I will predict them 20th. The game predicts 19th. Guess who signed for them? Danny Ings and Adam Lallana. Genuinely true. I'm not making this up. But yeah, they signed Danny Ings and Lallana, and they finished 19th, which shows I'm not too wrong. They also signed Alex Cochran from Hearts in January, apparently. But there we are. and Mikel Malsa as a free transfer, who used to play, I believe, in France. No, he used to play in Turkey in the Superliga for Campasa. But yeah, they didn't really sign anyone else apart from that, and they finished 19th. Poor season, I think. But yeah, the wheel thinks fourth. There we are. Tottenham Hotspur. Me and Football Manager both fifth, and the wheel thinks ninth. I don't think ninth is fair. Um, the big news coming from Tottenham Hotspur is that they qualify for the Champions League. So they win a competition during that and should still be in charge. And finally, you guys sell some ridiculously bad players. You sold Joe Rodon and Samuel Reguilon in the January transfer window. You sold Yus Bissouma, like I said, to Liverpool in the summer transfer window. And you get rid of Richarlison, which I don't think is happening. But you do get Pedro Gonçalves from Sporting, as well as Danny Sirkin. I think it might be an old transfer, but I think it's one Dennis Sirkin from Sunderland, as well as Adrian Bendazirek, who actually starts, and Hidimasa Morita from Sporting. I also believe it's an old signing, but I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. They've actually, yeah, I think it's an old signing. No, it's not. It's actually a new signing. There we are. So they signed Morita from Sporting. He does the 29-year-old Japanese guy who does okay. He's not too bad. But yeah, let's have a look at West Ham. I think 17th. Football Manager also thinks 17th, and the Wheel predicts 18th. I love the Wheel. The Wheel's brilliant. If this comes true, I will forever worship the Wheel. I'll make all my decisions in life with the Wheel. But yeah, Lopetegui gets fired. But there's no surprise there. Lopetegui got fired pretty quickly. Apparently in charge is Tony Mowbray. I think that's worse, actually. I think that's genuinely worse. Oh God. But yeah, they signed. The only person they signed in either transfer windows was Alan Velasco from SC Dallas. That's literally it. They loaned in a couple of players, Rizzo Doan from Freiburg and Alessandro Florenzi on loan from AC Milan. But Alan Velasco is apparently the only transfer you make. I think you'll make a bit more transfers than that. But I guess Football Manager with 2024 money, you don't really have much. So yeah, that's about as good as you're going to get. But 17th, and in Football Manager by goal difference as well. So they Leicester only finished behind you on goal difference. And yeah, I'll show that table at the end. Wolverhampton won. I think it's goal difference. I'll actually have to check. Give me a second. Was it goal difference? Uh, I'm confident in that. I think it was, but I could be wrong. Uh, yeah, no, 2 points in goal difference basically. You're 2 points ahead. Um, but Wolverhampton Wanderers. Where do we all think Wolverhampton are going to finish? I think 16th. The game thinks 11th, and the Will thinks 8th. Very optimistic. Very optimistic there. Wolverhampton Wanderers actually have a good season. They finished on a -7 goal difference. And do they still have O'Neill in charge? No, they have Kajeti Knutson in charge. Gary O'Neill was sacked due to a poor run of form. There we are. He lost 11 games in a row, drawn three, and won six, and got sacked. Knutson came in, lost three, drawn five, won nine, and got you 11th. So you'd have another manager apparently. And during that time, you'd sign Ronnie Edwards, Hayden Hackney, Taylor Godrahian from Oxford, and Manu Trigueros. I'm surprised no one Portuguese. But apparently you do sell the Mexican striker dude. No, not Mexican striker dude. Chihuahua, Takarik, and Tyler Roberts. You sell those. You don't really sell anyone apart from Podence that you would have heard of. But yeah, 11th apparently. But I think you'll finish 16th. I think you'll take a little bit of a step backwards, mainly because yeah, I don't know. Then we have the top goal scorer predictions. Obviously, the wheel not available because the wheel cannot decide anything else because it can't do any of those predictions. But I predicted that Erling Haaland will be top goal scorer. The most assists will be De Bruyne. The signing of the season will be Victor Gyökeres for whichever team he signs in the Premier League. If he signs in the Premier League, I don't know. We're doing this on a Sunday. Fucking who knows if anyone's been signed anywhere. And Pep Guardiola will be manager of the season. The surprise of the season will be wherever Manchester United finish, or whatever Manchester United do, will be the surprise of the season. Top goal scorer for Football Manager, Erling Haaland. Nicolas Dominguez of Nottingham Forest, he joins them at some point, gets the most assists, or has joined them at some point, and gets the most assists. Signing of the season is Pedro Gonçalves for Tottenham. Pep Guardiola, manager of the season, and West Ham finishing in 17th and sacking 3 managers is definitely a highlight of a surprise of the season. I don't think anyone would predict that, except for me, who did predict that. But yeah, that's everything. If you've enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, we will see you soon. I guess after the summer transfer window, if we change our minds. But we'll see you soon. Bye for now.